Hi, my name is Alba. I'm very happy today because I'm going to share with you one of my favorite recipes. It's a dessert called flan or crème au caramel. And if you go to any Mexican restaurant, more than likely one of the desserts there is going to be flan. It's like a custard covered in caramel, and it's really yummy. And before having my Thermomix, I used to love eating it, but I didn't like preparing it because you have to spend a lot of time watching the sugar become caramel, because the sugar, when it melts, first it's clear, then it becomes amber color. But in order for you to have the perfect caramel for the flan, you have to wait until the amber color gets a little darker. And when the amber color gets darker, you're this close to burning the whole thing. So then you have to be stirring like for good 45 minutes. You have to be stirring and checking and stirring and checking. And then when it starts getting darker, it's about to burn. So you have to remove it from the stove and start stirring so it doesn't get burned. And it's worth it. But when you have the Thermomix, and now I saw that there's a recipe for caramel, so then I don't have to spend my time just mixing it on the stove. The only little drawback is that the recipe, it's in Spanish. It's in Cookidoo. You cannot make it without Cookidoo or Cookidoo because the heat level is really high. So you not only have to do it in the platform, you also have to follow the recipe precisely. You have to have the exact amounts. But you do that, you'll have the perfect caramel for your flan. So it's in Spanish, but don't worry, I'm going to translate it for you because you only need 3 ingredients. So I'm gonna show you the screen of my Thermomix and you'll see all you need to do to have the perfect caramel for your flan. So when you go to Cookidoo, you check for caramelo líquido oscuro. That's the recipe you are going to look for, and that's what the picture looks like. Now I'm going to show you the ingredients that you will need. So the ingredients are 300 grams of azúcar. Azúcar is sugar. So you will need exactly 300 grams of sugar, 90 grams of water, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Have your ingredients ready, and then we're going to get ready to prepare the caramel. Now here what it says is steps to prepare this. To make sure that your recipe is a success, the ingredients, they have to be exactly the amount and description that we're showing here. And the recipe has to be made right after you put the sugar and the rest of the ingredients in the mixing bowl. Place in the mixing bowl the sugar around the blades, 30 grams of water. You see, we need total 90 grams, but at this point we're only going to add 30 grams of water, and the lemon juice. Without adding the measuring cup, we have to start this speed that is called puntos de azúcar. That's the thing, you cannot find this in the manual mode. That's why you have to follow the recipe here. Then at the end, you have to add, here we're in number 3, at the end you have to add 60 grams of water through the hole of the lid, and you have to mix 1 minute, speed 1. We're going to get started now. I just wanted to translate for you the whole thing. So here are my ingredients: 300 grams of white sugar, 90 grams of water, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. So I left it running in the kitchen. It's gonna take half an hour. I'll see you in half an hour. Remember that in the end, you don't place the measuring cup on top of the lid. The water needs to evaporate. So I'll see you in half an hour. It's ready. I'm gonna show you. Look how pretty, and it's super hot. You see how it's not amber color, it's a little darker. That's the exact point that we need. This is a lot of caramel. I'm not gonna use all of this for my flan. I'm going to use some of it. I'm gonna put it in my mold, and the rest I'm gonna put it in a jar, and I'm gonna store it, and I can use it some other time later. It's very hot and it's very liquid, so I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes until it's cool to the touch, so it's easier to spread around the mold. As the caramel cools down, you see it starts getting thicker. Then you can go around, and now that it's cool, I don't have to worry about burning myself, so I just have to go around the mold here and spread it around. Now that the caramel is ready, we're going to start making the mix of the flan. That I'm going to make in manual mode, but it's super easy and super fast. Let's get started. My ingredients for the custard are 4 eggs, 1 can of condensed milk. Make sure you buy sweetened condensed milk, because sometimes it's easy to get confused with evaporated milk. You have to get the one that is sweet. And white rum. White rum gives that extra kick to it, and it's really, really good. It's not going to be a lot, so nobody's gonna get drunk from it, because if you overdo it, then it tastes bad. So just a little splash of rum. Okay, and we're gonna add also 14 ounces of water. So what I usually do is, after I empty the milk, I use the same can to add my water, because it's the same amount of water. Why do I add the rum? To get rid of the egg flavor. If you don't add the rum, when you eat your flan, it's gonna have a little egg aftertaste. So the rum will compensate for that. That's what just need a little splash. If you add too much, then the flavor of the rum is going to overpower the whole thing and it's not gonna taste good. Now my mix, I'm going to just blend it for 10 seconds at speed 10. That's all I need to do. Before I add the mix into my mold, I'm going to spread around the caramel again. This is different than the caramel that I make on the pan, because the one that I make on the pan, it doesn't have any water, but I have to follow the recipe just as the Thermomix says, otherwise it won't work. One day it said to me, you're not using the exact amounts. I wanted to cut it in half because I said, I don't need all this caramel. I cut it in half and then the machine was like, nope, I cannot do it because you don't have the exact amount. And if you saw, when I was adding the water, I only got up to 54 grams of water, and I thought, oops, I hope it doesn't yell at me. But no, it was pretty easy on me this time. So yeah, I'm gonna spread it, and what little leftover I have, I'm gonna put it in my little container here. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover it with foil. I'm going to rinse the mixing bowl. I'm going to add 2 liters of water, and I'm going to leave it for Varoma, for 1 hour. So here it is, the mold covered in foil. Varoma lid. Now I'm going to do here 60 minutes. The highest heat, which is Varoma, 1.5. See you in 1 hour. It's running now. I'll be back in 1 hour. The thing that I love about the flan in the Thermomix is that it requires very little of my time. But one thing to keep in mind is it's a recipe that takes a while to make. First, because of the caramel, then you have to wait for the caramel to cool off. I recommend making the caramel 1 or 2 days in advance, or just have a stack of caramel in your pantry, and whenever you need it, just put it in the mold. And then the flan, when you put it in the oven or in the pressure cooker, like the way I used to make it, or even in the Varoma, the way it comes out, it's extremely hot. And the flan is a dessert that you eat cold, so you have to wait for it to get cold, and then you put it in the fridge. So unfortunately, it's not a dessert that you can just, oh, it's ready, I'm gonna eat it. No, you have to wait. So I hope you can make it the day before you get the craving. It's ready, and I can't unmold it right now because it's really hot, and it has to be a little cooler. But when I unmold it, I'll take a picture so you can look at it. Hi, so here I am 2 days after. I did a little something to the flan. After the flan was ready in the Varoma, I did something that you don't have to do. It's completely optional. It's only because I can be a little picky on how I like my flan. I don't like my flan too white. I like it a little brown. That's the kind of flan I'm used to. So what I did in order to make it brown, right after I took it out of the Varoma, I put it in the oven for 15 minutes at 450 degrees. So that gave my flan this caramel color that I really like. And that night we ate it. But before anyone touched it, I was like, I'm gonna take pictures and videos so you guys can see what the final result was. It ended up being so incredibly yummy, and yeah, I love flan regardless. And I wanted to show you how the caramel, the leftover caramel, is today. You see, it's very, very thick. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna show it. Can you see? It's very, very thick. And this is perfect for the next flan you want to make. What you want to do is pour it in the mold, spread it over, and then pour the mix, and then put it on Varoma. But as you see, super easy. So you're going to see the pictures that I took, and I hope you make a flan. Give it a try, and if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you love it. Take care. See you next time.